Good evening, everyone. My name's Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, December the 9th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. If you have not been to the website yet, go check it out. There's a lot of free informative information on the site. At the same time, if you're interested in joining our proprietary trading group or taking our advanced educational courses, you can contact me via ccooper at wallstreettrading.com, or you can contact us via the website button in the upper right hand side of the page there on the home page, wallstreettrading.com. All right, folks, let's go ahead and jump into the video here. A very quiet day on the markets. The volume was pretty low. Markets were quiet here. We had the Dow Jones up 5.25. The Nasdaq was up 6.25. The S&P 500 was up 3.25. The breadth on the markets here, we had 3,240 issues declining. We had 3,058 issues advancing. So you can see it's pretty much a mixed market. And looking at the intraday action and some of the action across the board on the heat map, you're seeing some red in some sectors, some green in some sectors. So again, a mixed market today, light volume. A lot of traders were, I'm assuming most of the traders were waiting to see, if we're going to have some follow through off of Friday's action, and we did have some follow through. However, it was not a big follow through day, and some traders may say, well, you know what, that may be a sign that this is the top. And most of the smart money guys are most likely going to tell you that it was just a pause day, which I think is the same thing, just a pause day. I'm not taking too much into consideration, being the fact that usually after you have a big day like we had on Friday, or a surprise day like we had on Friday, you usually have some people just waiting on the sidelines to see what's going to happen in the following days. Again, think about it. We had one. We had from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of some decent selling pressure. Even though we came off a low on Wednesday, we still had those sellers in the market. And then we closed on lows on Thursday. Then the jobs report number came out on Friday. Then boom, upside we go. A lot of traders are going to wait to see what happened, what's going to happen in the following days of Friday's bar before they actually put on another trade or have more confidence in putting more money to work in the market. I mean, that's just a whole psychological thinking behind it. All right, but as far as the markets go, let's go ahead and break down everything here, starting off with the triple Qs today. Nasdaq 100 ETF closed up. Sorry, this is a SPY. Sorry about that. Yeah. SPY closed up closed at 181.40, up 46 cents. Again, up 0.25% here. If we take out 181.75, we'll be breaking above the high that we made back here on November the 29th, which is an all-time high on the SPY currently. And we should be making our way up towards 182, 183. We'll see what happens. If we take out today's lows, we want to be on the lookout for this 181 level to see what happens there. If we break below 181, then we're most likely going to trade down to 180, which is a low from Friday. Let's not forget we do have a gap fill action as well from the gap up there, which comes to be all the way down here around, say, 179.35, 179.40. So that's something to watch on the SPY. But overall, they bought that pullback into that 20-day moving average. The same thing they did right here, that pullback buy into the 20-day moving average got bought up. The pullback buy into the 20-day moving average got bought up. And the most recent pullback into the 20-day moving average got bought up, and now we're back here at the high. So let's see how that works out. Or are we just going to trade in a range between 182 and I would say 179? So we need more clues, and that's why I think we have low volume today, and the fact that we didn't have any key economic data reports that came out today. Let's go and take a look at the triple Q, the Nasdaq 100 ETF closed up 35 cents. Again, very low volume day. A doji here, so back to back we have two dojis, which means a lot of indecision. Got to be careful if you're trading the Nasdaq up here. It is above the rising moving averages, the 8 and the 5, and the most recent pivot that we have is right here from last week. I think this is Wednesday's low, and now we're here. So most players that are swinging along the Nasdaq, they're probably working to stop underneath this pivot low right here if they entered last week Thursday or Friday. Okay, then today's a doji day, light volume, so they're probably a little bit worried because there was really no momentum that fall through from Friday's action on the Nasdaq, which is a little bit interesting. But again, you still have stocks like Apple that are moving higher. Let's go and take a look at what Apple did today. Apple closed up $6.41, closed up 1%. It's still respecting the short-term moving averages. If it were to pull back, it would pull back down towards 550, and we'll see what happens there. Or better yet, this rising 28 moving average right here around 543. Okay, but right now Apple's holding pretty nice and steady. We had Netflix pop up today. Let's go and take a look at that. All right, so Netflix popped up today a little bit in the morning, but then you can see that one gave back again. Not really much action going on in Netflix. If it starts to break below 350, I'll be a little bit worried. But the longer it can hold in base above 350, the more energy it should build to start making a move back up towards the highs from the earnings gap and crap that it had back here in October. Tesla made a nice move today, up $4.24, closing up 3%. Looks like you have a possible ABC pattern developing here around this 120 move up to 145, a little pullback that they bought today. So this one may get some nice little fall through tomorrow for an ABC move. It's going to have resistance, short-term resistance around 145. Then you have a lot of gaps that it could fill up here. Next resistance around 155. Keep an eye on Tesla though. Nice little move up here. May consolidate a bit more than try to push up, but then you have your up move, sideways consolidation, all right, which is usually indicative of a move higher. So let's keep an eye on the Tesla. Before we go into some more stocks here and some commodities, I want to talk about the IWM, the Russell 2000, which showed some relative weakness this morning, closing pretty much flat, down 3 cents in the IWM, which is the Russell 2000 ETF. One thing to take note of is that we are holding the 111.45 area prior resistance. Breaks out, becomes support. It held last week. Also, it held against that 20-day moving average and the median line of the channel. So if we can continue to hold above this 112 area and we break over 113, you can look for the IWM to make its way towards 114. If we come right back down, look for the IWM possibly to start trading back down to that 111.45 area, 111, and then maybe it's a little pivot low that we made from last week Wednesday if we were to pull back a bit. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the volatility index, the VIX. The VIX was pretty quiet today, down 2%. All right, back down at this 1350 level. Don't really see anything going on here, just aside from rallies continue to get faded. The move up that we had in the VIX last week, guess what? It got faded on Friday, and they sold it right back down some more today. So keep an eye on that VIX. If it goes back down towards 13, 12, we're most likely going to see the market at, of course, new all-time highs here, at least for every other index aside from the triple Qs, which still has a lot of room to make before it makes new all-time highs. The action in the euro, we had a big move in the euro today, intraday, and that euro closed on its highs, and we continue to chug higher. If you guys been watching our videos for the past months here, you've been knowing that we've been bullish on the dollar. I'm sorry, we've been bullish on the euro, bearish on the dollar, and so far that's coming into play there. You got the euro breaking above and holding above this 136 area that continues to move higher. We talked about this trade last week, Thursday or Wednesday, I believe it was, and our target's back up here towards these highs around 138.5. And then we have the US dollar via the dollar futures, which is on my platform here, Thinkorswim, that I use to do a lot of my technical analysis, is on for the symbol is /DX. You can see we have a nice little descending triangle here that broke down, declining highs, matching lows. We got the break that came in last week on some volume there, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive lower closes. If the dollar continues to move down, the next level to watch for is down here around 79.80. We break below 79.80. You want to watch for 79.20. If the dollar looks like it could go down to the support level right here, and the euro looks like it could go up to those highs, when I think that's going to happen, as this thing just broke down out of this little support that I was holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just about 4.5, call it 5 weeks or not, if not, so the longer the dollar continues to hold below 80.5, I think we're going to start making our way back down towards 79. And if we break below 79, that's when things get really ugly. And that's why we've been focusing back on these physical commodities such as gold. All right, want to see if that weak dollar gold trade is going to be put on if the dollar makes another big leg down here. All right, and so far the gold is actually holding some support right here around 1220. All right, there's been some of the gold mining companies got a nice little bounce up today. All right, let me move my little channel here. So gold is starting to show signals of a possible short-term bottom. And why do I say that? Because look here, all the little moves down we've been selling, moved down, they sold. All right, then we consolidated sideways for about a good 2 weeks here, and then we sold right. We had a big sell day last week on Monday, and then guess what? You would expect some fall through action here, and we didn't get that. So imagine if you're somebody that's short, that you got short gold last week Monday, and you put a stop versus these highs. You almost got stopped out 2 days later, but you didn't. And then now you see gold's not going down; it's actually holding support right here. What does that mean? That means that person that's holding short, I'm pretty sure they're not feeling that confident in that short, especially for the fact that you would expect another fall through bar on the sell day. All right, so we're watching gold pretty closely over here. If gold could break above this declining 20-day moving average or break above let's see here, 1250 level and hold, we're going to be looking for a short-term bounce in gold, possibly back up towards this 1290 area, or better yet, back up towards this like 1270 area. So we'll see. But we're definitely watching it to see what's going to do in the short term here, and you want to keep an eye on those levels that we just discussed. GDX gold miners up 55 cents today, up 2.66%. You definitely had some decent action in the gold miners today. You had some action in NEM, Newmont Mining, up 2.5% today, up 58 cents. Let me just take a look, see what GG did. Gold Corp GG, not so much. So definitely some action going, some money flowing into Newmont Mining today. Let's see, AEM, some action in AEM, up 48 cents, up close to 2%. Let's go and take a look at silver. All right, silver I think has actually been holding up a little bit better than gold, if you ask me. Silver is trading above Monday's sell action high right there, and I actually gave some of our followers an idea in the silver sector, and that idea is PAAS, which was up close to 3.5% today. The stock pays a 12.5-cent quarterly dividend. It's sitting on top of long-term support right here at 10. And you can see why gold and silver has been trading like crap. This stock has actually been trading pretty nice and steady in a nice little tight range here between 985 and 1125. Once this thing breaks over 1125, I think we can see the stock at 1225 from this most recent lower pivot high right here. All right, just don't forget the stock used to be a $42 stock back here in 2011, back in like April of 2011, and now it's at 10, sitting on top of long-term support. The stock's been around for 20 years, so they're definitely, would be a company that a lot of fund managers and maybe some institutions will be looking at if they were looking to put some money to work in this beaten down sector, and if they were looking to find a stock that pays a decent dividend. All right, guys, PAAS. All right, so let's go ahead and start looking at some key companies. See, you had some action today in Apple, Netflix, Tesla. I had some action in Triple D today. Again, these are some momentum trades that a lot of people watch on a day-to-day basis. If you're an active intraday day trader like we are, Triple D, not really much going on there. They were upgraded this morning. The stock bounced up a little bit on the open, then it reversed. You can see it kind of closed in the middle of Friday's action. Not really much there to take from that. Let's see. Tesla, we talked about that. STX is a stock that I was watching. I called this stock out for a buy back here last week on our Facebook page with a nice little cup and handle pattern that I was talking about here that I brought to everybody's attention. The stock did break out, as you can see now, and we called it at 49.08. It traded today a high of 50. Traded a high today of 51.73. Keep an eye on this name. If the stock can continue to hold above, I would say 50, it's most likely going to start making its way higher. The data storage stocks have been trading pretty nice, and the tech sector is pretty strong, so this does not look like a bad idea. And the weekly chart broke out of a bull flag pattern last week, so of course it may pull back a little bit early in the week here, but keep an eye on it. I would say in the next couple of days here if it does pull back a little bit more. Some standout stocks today. Looks like Direct TV had a big day. DTV up 2.25%. All right, MU Semiconductor Stocks were strong today. Direct TV will definitely be watching this one tomorrow, see if it gets some fall through action, that breakout candle that it had today. Keep an eye on that one. MU, a strong semiconductor stock. We talked about this last week. This one's getting some nice fall through action. This one's making all-time highs. I'm sorry, it's not making all-time highs. Don't listen to that. The stock is making new 10-year highs. The stock has not been around these levels since back here in 2002. All right, so it's doing pretty well. All right, and it looks like it go much higher back up here towards 30. So keep an eye on this stock. They have earnings coming out in about 2 weeks or so. Let's go ahead and take a look at Intel, which had a nice little pop up last week, even though they faded that move, holding steady. I would say if Intel could hold about 24.50, this thing's going to trade sideways to higher. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more of these semiconductor names here. Clack, not really doing much there. All right, and Qualcomm, not really doing much there. Trading in the range between 73 and 74. CRUS, up 0.5% today, not really doing much there. All right, like I said, the banks held up pretty well today. Goldman Sachs, all right, held up pretty well. Gave you some decent intraday action there with this little range it had, a little $2.29 range today. As long as Goldman Sachs can continue to hold, I would say above 165 or so, and it holds above this 50% trend line from our big channel, we'll be looking for Goldman Sachs to trade sideways to higher to attempt to make its way up towards the top of the channel like it has been doing here for the past 6 months. Keeping on Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan was up close to 1% today. Citigroup was up over 1% today. So JP Morgan hanging in there, holding the 20-day moving average. All right, so have to keep on watching that one to see if they're going to buy this bank on this dip against the moving average. I like it. It looks like it may go up there back up towards the 58. Wells Fargo, one of the banks out there that have the best looking daily chart, weekly chart, and monthly chart. And I'm talking about from a location perspective. It may not have the best momentum in it, the chart, but based on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, it actually looks like the strongest one out there. So keep an eye on it. If this stock was to trade over 44.70, it would be making new all-time highs, which is not too far. Okay, actually, sorry, not 44.70, but let's see here, 44.69, 44. Sorry, 44.79, so 44.80. If the stock trades over 44.80, it'll be making new all-time highs. Again, definitely one of the stronger banks out there. And then we have Citigroup, which actually did pretty well today, up just about close to 1.25%. Held support from the most recent pivot down here. All right, so it rallied up, pulled back, held the 51 level. Is this going to be an ABC move for a move back up? We'll see. But so far, they're hanging in there pretty nice. Take out that little trend line right there. Everything's looking pretty nice in Citigroup. What else? The coal stocks were in play. Can't forget to talk about those names here. We talked about that this morning before the market opened. And if you guys been watching these videos, we've been talking about WLT, ANR, BTU, and all those other coal stocks for the past couple weeks here. ANR, big move here. You can see it had a nice little pattern on the 60-minute chart when it closed on Thursday. Friday it gapped up and faded, and then today it had some bullish news on it. Well, guess what? This is what I call a shakeout. Somebody, in my opinion, somebody knew something was up. Some news was going to come out of the stock. They wanted to shake some people out. They moved it higher. Could that have happened? Yes. I mean, that's just, how I think things happen sometimes in the market. They try to shake out the weak hands, which shake out the weak hands in a way of somebody on the news is going to come out on Monday. Let's drive the stock down a little bit so we can pick up some more shares before they take it up. In any case, ANR, if it breaks above 760 and gets back above this little consolidation that it had here a couple weeks ago that failed, this little bull flag that was trying to form, but then they marked the prices down. If it could get back above 760 and hold, we should be looking for it to make its way back up towards 820, and then we'll see if it could break out from the high that it made back here in early November. So ANR, BTU, another coal name that was up pretty nice today. BTU, made back most of its losses from Friday. Let's take a look at WLT. WLT, the best performing coal stock today, was up close to 7%. Again, it came down here right back this little demand zone that we highlighted the first time that we were talking about watching WLT for this move up. Pulled back, held the bottom of that range, got back up at the top of that range, and now we had that momentum that came in today since ANR came out with some news. The news that came out in ANR, I believe they were buying back some of their shares, if I'm not mistaken, but it did cause the stock to move higher, and they definitely caused the whole sector to move. ANR up 14% after asset sale, but Citi says big problems remain. All right, well, the stock made 14% today. All right. So keep an eye on these coal stocks. Definitely keep an eye on the coal stocks. Again, BTU, ANR, CNX, WLT, JRCC if you like the cheap ones. Uh, Another trade that we talked about this morning, John Deere. You had some very bullish action in the industrial names like Caterpillar, Joy Global, and we called John Deere as the buy this morning. Take a look at the 5-minute chart on the setup. We called John Deere for a breakout once it broke over 86.20. We gave it out to the traders in our room, and what do you know? Rallied up, pulled back by, and it closed right dead on the highs. The reason why we like this stock is because it's been trading in this little range here since back here in June, and it finally broke out that range. You can see that volume is finally starting to come in the chart. Their earnings are out the way, so as long as the stock can hold above 85, we'll be looking for the stock to make its way up towards 89, over 89, 90, over 90. This thing has a gap fill all the way up here towards 92, guys. Keep this one in your radar. You heard it here first. John Deere looks to go higher as long as it can hold above this range, um, above the top of the range, 85. Got a whole bunch of more ideas to share, guys, but you can't get those unless you come join us in our live intraday chat room, mywallstreettv.com. Come check us out. Have a great night, folks. Make sure you follow us on Stock Twits at Wall Street Trade, WALLST Trade, and on Twitter. Same thing. Cheers.